Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a T40, it's a Tier 4 American tank destroyer. It's located on the North spawn of Steppes, and it's under the command of ProvoBob. Now, he's armed with the 76mm gun, which is basically a Tier 6 gun on a Tier 4 tank destroyer. But this tank destroyer never got put into production, although they did accept, the company who built it did accept an order for 1,000 of these, but they never got built. Well, the true gun that the T40 should actually have is a 3-inch howitzer, the M1918. But I'm afraid there just wasn't enough of these available. They were actually being used as proper howitzers for the US Army. The T40 was first designed back in 1941. It's based on the hull of an M3 Lee, and I think you can see that straight away. It's quite tall actually compared to an M3. It's just like an M3 without the turret mounted on top. And it's got a high silhouette, which makes it actually unsuitable for the ambush role for a tank destroyer. Oh, ProvoBob's taking it down to the west side of the map, and he's spotted an enemy again already. A Panzer Mark IV Hydrostat. He has been spotted, but he got 2 rounds into the target. Now, the alpha damage of this gun is 115 with penetration of 128 with standard, and that goes up to 177. He's been spotted, and an M8A1 managed to put a 57mm round into him, and now he's starting to receive rounds from a Matilda, so he needs to get below that ridgeline. But the gun is mounted quite high on the vehicles, so although he doesn't have a great amount of gun depression, he can still shoot. Now, he's lost his driver and he's lost his engine, or at least his engine's been damaged, and he really needs to fix it. He's fixed his driver, but he now needs to get the engine sorted. He might be holding the repair kit in reserve though, just in case the gun goes inoperational. Still having a go, try and have a go at a DW2 now, Der Bruchswagen 2. We lost the Lux, who was spotting for us over in that corner, but the enemy's lost the Hydrostat. And their Sherman is a one-shot. I don't think he's going to come around that corner, because if he does, he's a very foolish man indeed. In fact, I think he's going to retreat, and ProvoBob will get a shot at him when he tries to go through that gap. In fact, he has to go through the gap, because if he doesn't, then our Strodny Viz-39 is going to take him out, and that's not what happened. In fact, the M8A1 got the Strodny. And there's the Sherman. He's still been spotted. Still not fixed that engine. Sometimes people hold on to their repair kits too long, and as a result they come to regret it, because it would have come out of cooldown by the time they actually need to use it again. He's trying to pop up again to get some shots on these guys, the Type 95 Japanese heavy tank. And we've lost another tank, this time a KV-1, all to that M8A1, same guy that hit ProvoBob earlier. Gets around into a Type 95, going to do the same. Reload time is 4 seconds, or 3.5 really. This gun is very good because it is a Tier 6 gun on a Tier 4 tank destroyer, as I said earlier. In fact, it shouldn't be on this vehicle, because this vehicle was never considered with anything other than the 3-inch anti-tank gun. Okay, so Hetzer over there. He can easily get shots on that guy. Yeah, no problem punching through the armour. Yeah, he's getting these lovely hits into this guy. But he has been spotted.
Enemy armor is hit.
And the question is how long before one of the enemy gets him. Oh, we got the Hetzer. Went in through the side, going for the DW2. This is going to be fairly easy, but the DW will fire back if he gets the chance. In fact, he's not looking this way. He's looking towards the west. Now he's looking this way. And ProvoBob does the right thing, pulls back. The DW2 fired him. You saw that shell moving like in slow motion towards him. Okay, he's pulled back enough to see what the situational awareness is. There's the DW2 coming this way. He's looking this way. And he kills him. And there's another DW2 down there now.
Enemy armor is hit.
He's tearing these guys apart. There's only 4 enemies left. They've lost their Type 95. He can't see this DW2, but he's still pumping rounds in there. And he's now run out of standard AP and he's into his APCR. In fact, he probably ought to load up the HE rather than the APCR so he doesn't burn too many credits. In fact, he'd be better to hold his fire at the moment and wait. He's only got 113 hit points himself, but he could survive a shot from the DW2 if he's got the 5cm gun and still be alive. But only one shot. If he got shot twice by the M8A1, then he would be out of the game because he would lose enough to die. There's the M8A1. He's not in position to fire over here, but we now got shots on the DW2. And, oh, he was lucky on that one, but this will be a kill shot. Yeah, got him. And, okay, the M8A1's died. And that means now there's only one enemy left. It's a Panzer IV Aslains H. And, well, everyone's closing in on him, but I don't think ProvoBob's going to get a chance to get a shot. But I suspect he's got the high caliber already because he did enough damage earlier in the game to earn it. Panzer Mark IV comes up to attack the Valiant, and he starts pumping rounds in through the side of him. And gets to him, but the Panzer Mark IV goes back down again. He doesn't need to worry about pulling back because he's the only one left alive. And that's it, game over. So the not so stealthy, even though he's actually in a bush, T40. It's actually quite good fun. And it's got a variety of guns that you can actually use on this tank to make it fun. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats for this one. Well, it was an ace tanker for ProvoBob in the T40. He got a fire effect for doing more damage than the hit points for his own vehicle. A bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. He got 13 in this one. And he did get the high caliber for doing the most damage in the game. And his win rate from this game was 11,263, which is very high, actually, for a vehicle. But then, for the sheer amount of damage he pumped out during that game, I suppose this is quite normal. If you look at the team score, we can see that he did 2,835 hit points of damage. And the next high scorer was the M10 RBFM, the French Wolverine, basically, who did 2,167 hit points of damage. And then the highest scorer on the ME team was their M8A1. And of course, he did hit ProvoBob a couple of times. 1,048 hit points for him. When it came to kills, it was the M10 RBFM, the French overpowered Wolverine. Well, it's not overpowered, it's just very good tank destroyer. 5 kills for him, 3 kills for ProvoBob, 2 kills for the Valiant, and the M8A1 on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, it was the M10 RBFM again with 1,120, 1,054 for ProvoBob, and 601 for the Valiant. ProvoBob fired 31 rounds in that game, got 30 direct hits and 26 penetrations. So good accuracy, reasonably good penetration as well with standard AP. And I would suggest that he uses less APCR and more AP in the vehicle, because in this particular vehicle, with that particular tier 6 gun, he's going to get the penetration. So he doesn't need to expend a huge amount on ammo so long as he keeps the ammo to the standard AP. 2,835 hit points of damage, of which 225 was at a distance of 300 meters or more, and 5 hits received from the enemy. I'm afraid, as I said, it's got a very poor profile. It's a very tall tank, and it's one of the reasons why this tank was actually rejected by the army at Aberdeen Proving Grounds, simply because it was too difficult to hide it. In fact, it was very easy to be seen because it was so tall, and the army said, well, it doesn't fit the requirements of an ambush predator. So they decided in the end that, well, in fact, actually, they said it was too slow in the end, but and they also said that there was too few of the M1918 howitzers used for, or 3-inch anti-tank guns rather, for putting into these vehicles, when of course they were being used by the army for other purposes, because of after Pearl Harbor. The army was reorganizing and rearming. And so that's why this vehicle was rejected. He got penetrated quite easily because the armor is not really meant to be penetrated. So just about anything that hits a T40 is going to go through the armor. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 3, and on a premium count he earned 33,222 credits, and after repair and ammunition resupply took away 12,975 credits. He would have taken a lot more away, but for the fact, of course, he had too many APCR shells and too few AP ones. He picked up 25 bonds for the game, and 1,581 XP, 3,162 for completing the mission events, and 4,743 experience points altogether. Now, if I recall, this vehicle is actually now on the collector's tab rather than the actual main tech tree of the American tank destroyer line. It's actually been sort of like taken out because it wasn't really one that was actually in main production for the army. Although they ordered 1,000, they actually cancelled the order about 4 months later when they realised, yeah, it wasn't really going to fit the bill. Plus, of course, they had other tanks, tank destroyers in mind, which were much better for what the army wanted. A dedicated tank predator, a tank that would actually destroy enemy tank columns. This one, although it was a nice quick fix, based on the M3, it just really didn't cut the ice as far as the army was concerned. But anyway, it is quite an interesting tank destroyer, and it's actually hilarious if you use the derp gun, the big 105mm derp gun, which can do a huge amount of damage, an obscene amount of damage for this tier. And it's very similar in many ways to the gun you'll find on the Hetzer, in terms of the fact it's an ambush predator. If you mount this derp gun on a vehicle and an enemy tank comes right in front of you, you just derp them with a 105 and they instantly crumble in front of you. But of course the derp gun can actually be used at long range, funnily enough, and still very effective, although you will find that the shell arc is frighteningly high. You'll see the shell go right up in the air, arc down onto the target almost from above, and then just obliterate it, because of course you get hit by one of these 105mm rounds, which is basically also a tier 6 gun in a tier 4 tank destroyer, although you will find it on the M4, the 105mm gun. It is still amazing the effects you can get from that gun, so do consider it on this vehicle. Now, I've been rather long-winded about this replay, and the T40, ProvoBob's actually got to like it rather well, and he's actually doing very well. And he sent a whole series of replays in, spaced apart, but he's actually improved a lot in this vehicle. And if I say that he's got an ace tank already, and he's improved, I think you'll get the message that some of these replays are going to be quite interesting. So all the next 5 replays are going to be ProvoBob's, or next 4 replays. So I say this is the first of 5. And I think you'll find that towards the end it gets very exciting. So if you enjoyed this replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching.